on. Listen, the league got together to discuss new ways to not incentivize losing. The tanking matter is getting out of hand. Yeah. Even though they fined 2 teams the other week, $800,000, $500,000.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. The billionaires don't give a fuck.
Right off.
Yeah. So they did have a meeting to discuss ways to fix that, and I thought some of them were pretty interesting.
And to be clear, Adam Silver told the league there will be a change next year. While they haven't worked out the rules, he said something's going to happen. He told all 30 of the GMs something's going to happen next year.
Good.
And these were some of the ones they considered. First round picks can be protected only top 4 or top 14. That's a big one.
Okay.
Right? Lottery, and that's probably the most likely one to me. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date.
That's going to happen.
That's definitely.
I think the next few, the first half of these, I can see 100% happening.
Yeah,
the lottery odds
freeze at the trade deadline.
I don't love that, and I'll tell you, I think it's going to happen. But I don't love it because sometimes you really do get a catastrophic injury. As a Philadelphian who knows tanking but also no injury, if Joel Embiid slips on a banana peel in February, which he will, you know what I mean, a lot of years, and then suddenly I go from being in second place to being in 12th place. To me, that's not tanking. Like, that shit happens. Sure. That's the only thing you can get bad luck in the second half of a season.
Or we've seen teams do the exact opposite, where the beginning of the season they playing like shit, and then they just go on this 30-3 streak post.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Post All-Star game. Now what do we do?
Right, but you still, if you make the playoffs, you still don't get. It don't matter, right? But if you miss it by one game, well, that goes.
But if they cap it right at All-Star, right before
your lottery odds. But if you make the playoffs, the lottery odds are moot. But where it gets interesting is they also are considering adding the play-in team. So if you lose the play-in, that also gets added in, right? The lottery odds are extended to the play-in teams.
Okay.
But what else? No longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years.
This is the set that I love.
This is the set Joe's talking about.
I love this whole set.
That's that Philly shit.
Fuck off. Or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know.
And the next one.
Yeah. And then the next one. So, but just for that, clear that one's. Yeah. I mean, it gets good. Except, I don't know. I'm thinking about Golden State, the year where they got Steph, they got Clay, and they got Draymond, right? Steph, Clay, and who was the third? There was another. My point is, they built the team honestly. They just weren't ready to win yet, and so they got 3 lottery. But they weren't tanking. They just weren't ready to win yet. That's the only thing I don't like, as opposed to the Sixers, who were kind of losing on purpose. Teams can't pick top 4 the year after making conference finals.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's a super interesting one. I love that one.
That's top 4. I don't like that one. I don't like it either.
You said you don't?
I don't like it because what happens is teams are out here making deals. Right, so I might trade Parks in 2022, and I might get a first rounder in 2027. We weren't that when we traded for that first rounder in 2022. We wasn't shit.
Exactly.
But now we might go a kick up. Now you're gonna penalize us for being good and take away our first round pick. I don't think that's fair.
No, not take away your first round pick.
I mean,
you can't get a top 4 pick. And any team that makes the conference final typically wouldn't get a top 4 pick. However, we have to bar against some of this shit that the Mavs did. The Mavs went to the finals, and then the very next year.
But look, that's not based on lottery. That's based on trades that we made.
I'm not sure this rule's for the trade situation
4 or
you're talking
5 years
about.
ago.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
But the Mavs made the finals and then got they got lottery picks the next year.
Y'all are talking past each other. I think the situation you're talking about is like Boston when they kept winning, but like we gave a terrible trade for Markelle Fultz and they had our lottery pick even though they were winning. I don't think this rule is for we have a pick that we got from a trade later on. I think it's saying if you're in the conference finals, you can't lose your way into a top 4 pick the next year.
Well, I think they are saying that, which is where the top 4 protected rule will come in.
Yo, would you even be able to?
Can't do
if
it
you in the conference finals, you can't lose your way into the
because you don't get one of the lottery.
No, the following year.
Guys.
The following year. So like this year, I make the conference finals.
The next year you tank.
This is the situation they're working about. Teams that get right up to the limit and they know they're not good enough to ever win a championship. They got veteran players. They're older. We're not going to win a championship.
Take the next season.
So it's like, fuck it, let's rebuild.
Okay.
They're trying to stop
Let's
that
rest our aging players that might help us win, i.e. exactly what Washington is doing right now.
Exactly.
If they were able to win and get, if winning were a part of this process, Trae Young will be on the floor. And he's going to do something about trading for injured players to affect your cap and affect who's able to play or not. Teams are actively trading for injured players to sit them down so they can tank. They're doing a lot. There's a lot going on.
It's a lot. Even Kyrie could probably play the last 10 games of this year, 20 games, but that's not going to help Dallas' situation. So they're like, we're just going to come back next year.
Yeah.
So again, the conference thing bothers me again because you could have a catastrophic injury on a player. Things can happen, but I get the logic of it because teams are really exploiting this shit. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records.
Yeah.
That's better. That's better.
Unless you've been tanking.
I was just going to say, now you still tank.
If you look at the Sixers example,
You tank for longer than 2 years.
Y'all was getting them every year, yo. Y'all had a good run of like 5 years of just getting top 3 picks and not doing shit with
Still
them.
blew them.
Well, I wouldn't say not doing shit with them. Fuck y'all, but I get your point. But your point's well
Still
taken.
blew them.
And B was a pretty good pick.
One.
Yeah, keep going.
Who else?
We had three
Fultz, Ben Simmons.
They were all in a row,
Will
but I
not
get your point.
unpack the Sixers
We're
process
not.
at this second.
I'm just saying, not to make it about the Sixers. I'm saying the point is, teams. It wasn't just about who they're picking. It's about teams like drafting injured guys. It's about not having any veterans on the team. It's about creating a culture of losing. To me, the Sixers' problem wasn't so much the tanking; it was all the other things attached to it that just made it really bad. And that's why Sam Hinkie was eventually let go, among other reasons. Or he quit, but among other reasons he was pushed out was because the league doesn't want to create a culture of losing. And it's not good for young players to be in situations where they're not around anybody who's even trying to win. Because as some of the veteran players will tell you, like 5-6 years in, if you don't know how to win and you never worked to win, it's hard to just become a winner, even if you have the talent. Lottery extended to include all playing teams, we said, and then flatten the odds for all lottery teams. That's an interesting one. Flatten the odds. So that means it'd be like pre-1985, pre-Patrick Ewing. Was that 85? It was after the Patrick Ewing draft that they added the lottery. So the idea would be that whether you had the worst record or
but then it was another year where the Knicks had the worst record. Where that was the first year they implemented the new system of it doesn't just go to the most losing team. It's like the Knicks be getting fucked on so many different fronts.
Yeah, but I like the idea of flattening it because then it's like, again, you want to try to win because no one wants to necessarily lose out on purpose to get the 14th pick in the draft. But if you knew you had a shot at the number 1, you will. And so,
why do they help me out? Because I don't follow the draft like that. Why not just the teams that don't make the playoffs? Y'all go into a what's the little rolling ball shit, and you pick out.
They do, but what happens is if you are the worst team,
you have more balls.
You get way more
But
balls.
you're saying why is it? Like
I'm
that?
saying, yeah, why that? Why not one ball per team?
To make it because if you make it makes it unfair. You know, if I'm 0-82 and you're 41-41 and you missed the playoffs by half a game in the West,
now you get the first pick,
and then you get the first pick. The rich get richer. I mean, that was the logic
guaranteed.
of it.
That's just okay.
But you try to create a level of parity in the league to make the league competitive. So if you just missed the playoffs and I'm ass and I still go to be ass and now you get the first player of the draft, the teams that ain't shit, they still ain't shit.
I get it.
New Joe Budden.